Bob Marley spoke of war. If you look at his verses where we're talking about the speech that His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie, the speech that he gave at the United Nations, we will rise up again because we are a resilient people and we will help each other to get back on our feet. Now, when you look at South Africa, they had formed a coalition with a number of nations called BRICS. I'm sure you remember it.
Did you know that one artist from South Africa is now shaking the entire global music industry? Sama nominated, Grammy considered, film featured, and standing shoulder to shoulder with Jamaica's Prime Minister in the middle of a hurricane crisis. Today on Reggae Hour, we welcome Don Dada, a multi-platinum trailblazer, a Recording Academy voting member, and one of the loudest voices for Africa-Caribbean unity in this generation. This is the man who turned the rebel fire of hip-hop and reggae into an international movement, who stood in Jamaica after Hurricane Melissa to help fortify relief efforts, who performed Rise Up in front of Jamaica's Prime Minister, Andrew Michael Holness, and Minister Kamina Johnson-Smith, who continues to push the diaspora forward with every lyric, every project, and every act of service. His new EP, Forward We Continue, is shaking the culture with revolutionary anthems like Forward, Social Message, Loyalty, Love, Respect, and Care, Your Love Dangerous, and High School. And now, it's officially submitted for Grammy consideration.
The stars far away. There's no better time than today. And trumpets shall clear the way. From mountaintop drums will play away. Each song
Family, this is history. This is culture.
This is Don Dada. How'd you doing today, sir? I hope everything going well.
I'm doing so good, my brother. It's always a pleasure and an honor to speak to you. Powerful moment right now, and I love the intro. Thank you so much.
Oh man, hey, you give us the content to make great intros like that, so thank you, man. Like I said, man, you always, every time you come on here, you got something to bless us with, and that's why I love watching you as an artist, because your growth is phenomenal, man, for real.
Thank you, brother.
Man, you've been doing some great things, man. Like I said, you rubbing elbows with politicians, man. That right there is like your lyrics coming to culmination, man. You're making your lyrics come to life. You're not just making music for people to dance to in the club. You're making music that's actually making a change. So once again, I want to thank you. I want to put you on that pedestal and give you your roses, because you've been doing your thing, man. And you are an inspiration to all artists out there. They need to look up to you and follow in your footsteps, straight like that.
Oh, that's powerful. I appreciate that, brother. It's something that I always say to my daughter and to younger artists is that you have to be aware of what you lay down on your songs, because the words have powers. And like you said, they manifest themselves into real life. And it's just been a blessing to see the positivity that comes from my music manifesting itself. It's an amazing thing.
Yes, exactly, man. And your EP is now in Grammy consideration, and your album, The Heart and Mind, is Sama nominated, man. At what moment did you personally feel things were shifting into a new level for your career?
It's been a long journey for me. I think I've been making music professionally for about 25 years now. So it's been a long time. But the switching of gears moment, or the glass ceiling shattering moment, I could say it was with the release of Rise Up. Rise Up swiftly climbed the VIP charts in Canada, taking the #1 position for almost a month. And then it was replaced by a song called Blackout, which is from the same album, The Heart and the Mind. And when that happened, I knew that there's something special that's about this album. If the song after song, from song #1 to song #2, is moving on to the charts, it's something special about it. And lo and behold, with the blessings of Jah, Rastafari, and the backings of all of the communities that are around me, the album has managed to do well. And it's just a surreal moment, I think. When you make music, you love all of your songs the same. So to see these ones climbing and doing amazing things is just so beautiful.
Oh, you definitely right about that, man. And the way that I love how you keep Jessica Mangini's voice alive in your art. For We Continue, you start it off with her coming on with some of the most powerfulest words that ever to grace my ears. And I've been listening to music, I've been listening to poetry for a long time. And that right there is like it's just a soul reviver. What actually what was your mind process at when you decided to pick that clip to start the album off with?
Well, Sis Jessica and myself, we had worked so much together, and I had songs and poems of hers that are unreleased in the studio for, I think it's up to about 3 or 4 years now. So when I started working on the EP, the first song that I worked on was Forward. And as I was working on the song, I was thinking to myself, it's such a powerful production. What would make it more powerful is some Mbongi praise worship right in the beginning, some Sis Jessica. So I thought, let me go back, go through the archive and see what I have. And I started looking through it, and I found the piece that's now on Forward, where she's coming with something that's so mighty. She's saying, if this is the time that a king is about to talk, and it's a powerful phrase, and she's talking about the powers that we have in Africa, from the gold to the silver. And I felt so motivated by it. So I thought, you know what, I'm putting that right in the beginning. And not too long after, while I was busy now sifting through and all of this, Sis Jessica had passed away. And so I thought, this song is also going to be the first song on the album, because I want to keep her legacy alive. I want to keep her voice alive. She was a cultural ambassador for the Amaxhosa people on the Eastern Cape here in South Africa. And so this is part of my attempt to keep her legacy around forever. Sis Jessica is a powerful figure in South African poetry, not just music. And so I felt it to be very fitting to have her on the first song, the first voice that you hear, Sis Jessica. It's the biggest blessing I could think of.
Yes, and it was so fitting. It was definitely so fitting. Like you said, it was like her lyrics was saying a king will rise up, and then you're the king, obviously, that she's referring to on your album right now. And then you're stepping and you're rubbing shoulders with politicians in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, take us back to that room with Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Minister Kamina Johnson Smith. Like, what was said or felt in that space that the public doesn't even know?
It was such a, a memorable moment in my life to have met the Prime Minister of Jamaica. Um, he walked in the room, and he decided that, look, it's such a small audience. I'm going to walk around and shake hands with each person, which is a rarity, especially when we're talking about leaders of nations. They never really go around the room and meet every single individual. So from the off, as soon as I saw him, I was caught off guard, because this is something that's out of the norm. When he came to me, he shook my hand and he said, look, it's such a pleasure to meet you. And I said, sir, it's an honor for me to have met you. And then I informed him that I had prepared a song for him. And so I performed Rise Up, which I thought would be a fitting song, because the meeting that we were attending was addressing the effects of Hurricane Melissa on the island of Jamaica, and how we could all contribute to the efforts to bring relief, recovery, and to rebuild the island of Jamaica. So not only was it a moment for us to sit and speak with the Prime Minister, but it was also an opportunity for us to have a meaningful conversation that goes back to giving to the people of Jamaica, which again is another rare opportunity. I don't know many times when a leader has gone from his country to find residents of his nation within the diaspora and speak to them about how they could assist in helping the nation. So it was a lot of firsts for me. Although I have met quite a few members of parliament and of such here in South Africa and in Zimbabwe and across the African continent. But it was a first to meet the Jamaican Prime Minister. So it was a lovely affair, and it was great to see a man speaking about his people so passionately and canvassing for his people. Amazing and a beautiful thing to see. I think a lot of people thought that when he left the G20, it wasn't the correct thing to do because the island was in such turmoil. But now that you know that when he went for G20, it was to seek relief and assistance, for me, I feel that he did the right thing.
Yes, and right now, especially with all the devastation, the turmoil that's going on this island, I mean, any kind of relief should be welcomed right now. And if you have to go out there and get it, that's exactly what the politician's job is to do. As a leader, you have to lead by example and go out there and get that relief for your people. So to see him out there and actually talking about it, actually in the public view, bringing some awareness to it and making sure that we can pull in as much, that right there was very honorable. And you actually went down to Jamaica, am I correct, during for the hurricane relief efforts?
I have not yet been down, unfortunately, due in part to the cost of traveling at the moment. But we have been ramping up our efforts here in South Africa, doing whatever we can to get goods together, to canvas people, to do whatever we can to get awareness. First of all, I think it was such a shame that, well, so many things were happening in the world at that same time that it felt that Hurricane Melissa's news had taken a back seat here in Africa. They were focused on so many things. So one of the things that I really focused on was bringing the attention to the mainstream media and to the people that this is going on in Jamaica. We're talking about an island that has really lended their support to Africa at every turn of the hat. One of our loudest supporters, when you look at the fall of apartheid, they've always been a supporter of South Africa. The love of Zimbabwe and the cultural exchange continues until this day. So I felt that it was necessary to bring the attention back to Jamaica, even though I know that a lot of these places are also going through a lot of their own things. I do believe that we can come together and assist each other. So that was part of my main effort, but also, as I said, meeting with the ambassador, networking, and working with the people from the diaspora was also a beautiful thing and a powerful way to connect with Jamaica, because I think that all of us can sit and also assume what is needed in Jamaica, but only when you connect with the people that are there can you really understand what's going on the ground.
Every day asks something different from your body. Some days it's strength. Some days it's focus. Some days it's just getting up and showing up. That's why I keep Ziva Life in my routine. It's clean, plant-based nourishment that fits real life before the workout, after the grind, or in that quiet moment to reset. No hype, no shortcuts. Just support for balance, clarity, and consistency. Try Ziva Life today and get 30% off with code Reggae Hour. One word at zivo.life. Take care of your body. It carries everything else.
On the ground.
Exactly, man. I couldn't say it no better than that right there. And I remember when we had our last interview, we had spoke about you perform or creating Rise Up and the actual movements that were going on the African continent at the time, how you reconciled the two. And we was talking about how the lyrics were pure in its essence, and it helped to motivate the youth to actually start taking action. And now we see from all over the globe, the diaspora doing the same thing with Jamaica. Do you see that this moment of blended politics and culture and spiritual upliftment of the people is actually showing its essence in this nature, in this effort as well, just like it did with the African continent?
I think it is. I think it's creating a weird opportunity for unity between certain nations, if I could say it that way. There's been so many things that divide people. We can talk about trade taxes and so many different things. Now, when you look at South Africa, they had formed a coalition with a number of nations called BRICS. I'm sure you remember it. I think it's Brazil, India, China, and Russia, and South Africa that formed BRICS. And from this coalition, it started with things such as lowering the tax of imports and so on, which was a beautiful thing to do. But it started leading to amazing things such as not needing to have a visa when you travel from South Africa to Jamaica and so on and so forth. And now we've reached a level where when there's national crises, people are coming together and trying to assist each other from these nations. So you can really see the idea behind BRICS not only being a political movement, but also being a movement that's uniting people from these different regions of the world. And for me, I really do think that it's important for us all to come together, because I know we're all proud of where we come from. We want to fly our flags high and represent our people. And it's a beautiful thing to do. But at the end of the day, we are all human beings. We are on this earth together. We were all placed here by Jah, Rastafari. These flags and these borders, we do not place them here, but we do enforce them. And it's beautiful to see that when it's times of crisis and people are in need, that we can drop these borders and we can drop these territorial stories that we have and really focus on just assisting each other. Because I think that is one of the main things of being a human, is that looking at each other, regardless of color, creed, gender, seeing that someone is in need and trying to assist them. I think that is one of the most human things to do.
Yes, and we actually got the chance to be on your page to watch your performance of Rise Up in front of the Jamaican Prime Minister, and you can actually hear your embodiment of all of those values in the lyrics that you were singing. Like, what was moving through your spirit when you sang that song at that time?
It's a powerful thing, because the prime minister was using a slogan prior, saying that with all this devastation that has happened in Jamaica, he'd like to remind the citizens of Jamaica that we are a resilient people, that we are a strong people, that we've been knocked down before by hurricanes, but we're going to rebuild the island. And I think that narrative fitted perfectly with the idea of Rise Up, because Rise Up is speaking about being knocked down, is speaking about being through whatever trials and tribulations life may hand to you, but rising up again, giving thanks and praise to the Most High for giving you another day and another opportunity to rise up. And I think that both of these ideals and ideas meld together so perfectly for the situation that's happening in Jamaica right now. The loss of human life is not ever anything to look down on. The loss of even one human being is a painful experience, not only for the people's immediate people in their vicinity, but for their family, for their friends. The person contributes to the economy. So for the economy, the loss of one person is deeply felt by all. And so the words of Rise Up and the words of the Prime Minister really echoed the sentiments that even though we may be going through so much loss of life, financial loss, we will rise up again, because we are a resilient people and we will help each other to get back on our feet. So I think it was quite a pertinent message to be delivered, and a powerful message. So it was an emotional performance, but also a fun performance. I think very few times in your life you get such a beautiful audience to perform to. So I had to enjoy it, and I did enjoy it.
I bet, man. I was just saying, like right now. I mean, when you look out there on your fans, it's a totally different feeling. That's the feeling of fulfillment right there, because you know that they chose to come and see you at this present moment. But when you're performing in front of like a political figure, or even a figurehead of a nation such as a prince or a king or anything like that, it's a totally different feeling. Like, but I want to talk about how you brought up the United Diaspora. After this visit, what does a real Africa-Caribbean partnership look like to you?
Well, there's a whole bunch that was being discussed. For example, we were speaking about one of Jamaica's major agricultural exports, which would be ackee, and how ackee is something that is widely known across the African continent. I think they were saying in Ghana, there's so many ackee trees that grow, but the people don't really know how to use it. They haven't been using it as the Jamaicans do. So they would just sweep up the ackees and get rid of them. So when you look at it, there's an opportunity for food to be able to feed people. There's an opportunity for trade across the globe. Ackee is something that people have been trying to buy. There's Jamaicans in the diaspora that really want a taste of home. So it's something that can be canned and exported and really create an economic model that could benefit not only Africa, but also Jamaica. So there was a lot of opportunities that were being discussed. But as I said, the main focus of the day was really on the rebuilding efforts. The Jamaican Prime Minister really hit home when he said that after the hurricane, there was close to 500 full truckloads worth of rubble and debris that needed to be cleaned up. And so far to date, They had managed to clean up, I think, 100 or was it 40 truckloads, something somewhere close to that, which is a significant amount, but it really puts into perspective how much work still needed to be done. So really, we were looking at ways that we could really speed up these efforts and assist in getting Jamaica back onto their feet. I think as well, when you look at the island of Jamaica, their gold and then natural minerals is their music and their tourism. And so one of the main aims was to get them back on their feet with their tourism so the economy could get back on their feet, which is also quite an important thing. You can help people to rebuild, but if they have no way to provide a living going forward from there, the rebuild quickly starts to fall flat. So I love the holistic approach that was being considered. And I love that the Prime Minister was not there to inform people, but he was there to take suggestions and to hear from people how what could be the better route. And I think as a leader, it's very important to not only to give orders, but to be able to take suggestions on board and to be able to be flexible and to mold your idea in a way that people can be represented, everyone can be represented, and everyone's voice can be heard. So it was a beautiful occasion, a very productive conversation. And it's also great to hear that so much has been happening on the island already to improve the lives and the situations of individuals. And as I'm sure you know, a lot of artists have already embarked on huge relief efforts, bringing in so much goods, whether it be water, whether it be food, whether it be clothing. So it's also great to see fellows of the musical fraternity not just lending their voice to promoting their music and their songs, but lending their voice to help the people in Jamaica. That's an amazing thing.
Yes, it is, and watching all these relief efforts is so amazing because there's a different like mixed emotions, mixed feelings about how the politicians are handling the crisis or how they could have prepared better and things of that nature. You know, every hindsight is 2020. Everybody is a critique in aftermath, but the one thing that I can say is that in this present time, right now, one thing has been proven is that even if the government doesn't have the power or didn't execute the power that they have, the people are executing the power that they have by coming together without having to be organized by a political body or political or politicians or anything. They're doing this on their own.
Yeah.
That right there shows me the resilience, the faith that humanity has, that we should be still focused on. Now, and fast forward to your newest EP, the 6-track EP, Forward We Continue, like it mixes hip hop power with deep reggae messages. Like watching that, what's going on in reggae, in Jamaica right now, and listening to your music right now, which song would you say actually represents what you're witnessing right now in Jamaica?
Wow, that's a good question. I think I would go with Forward. I think Forward is the song. I think, it encapsulates the situation perfectly. Forward was written to say that no matter what may have happened in the past, we've been through trials, tribulations, mountains that we've had to conquer. And when you've conquered them, there's another mountain that's staring you in the face with an even higher peak. But we don't go backwards. We just continue forward. And then that for me is the spirit that Jamaica has as well. They've been through so much. I remember the first time I had touched down in Jamaica and I was speaking to the elder and he was showing me a mountain that had been devastated by Hurricane Beryl. I'm sure you remember that hurricane. And it had removed so many trees on this mountain. And he was saying, when he was younger, this whole mountaintop was green. And right now there's so many brown spots on it where the land has been washed away. And when you fast forward time now, I think that was a good 4 years ago. You fast forward time and we're looking at the devastation of Hurricane Melissa. It's maybe 3 or 4 times the devastation of Hurricane Beryl. In fact, I think it is the highest recorded hurricane in the history of recordings in the Caribbean, which is a huge statement to say. I think it was doing 230 kilometers of wind speed. So it was a crazy, powerful hurricane. But yet, the very next day, Jamaica was again Forward We Continue, trying to rebuild, trying to bring relief. And so I think that song encapsulates their spirits. They're people that cannot be stopped. You're not going to knock them down. Terrible things have happened. Yes, we all see it, but they stand and they continue forward.
Yes, exactly. I mean, if you listening to that Jessica Mbingini's vocals on there and they're watching what's going on in Jamaica, it's like a perfect music bed. It's like you know how you watching a music video and they're showing you the B-roll and it's things of that nature, and it's like that right there. I see at the beginning of the music video, I just see nothing but Jamaica rebuilding while listening
Yeah.
to her. It's a beautiful, beautiful, very beautiful. And that's saying a lot. That's saying a lot because everybody look at destruction, and the first thing we do is we tend to mourn. We tend
Mm,
to get depressed, not realizing that after every storm, the sun shines brighter. The sky is crystal clear. It's a beautiful day, even though the sun is shining on destruction, but it's also shining on another opportunity to rebuild. How do
mm.
you see rebuilding in the world? Like, excuse me, that's not the question I'm asking. Excuse me. The question I'm asking is, how do you see the destruction that's taking place right now leading to a new reconstruction or a rebuilding of this entire society?
Well, it's something that's quite a powerful thing. I think you hit the nail on the head that after all of these storms, it's always an opportunity of rebuilding. It's always an opportunity for new life. I think one of the most powerful ways you can look at it is as a farmer. When you plant your seed needs the water, it needs the rain, it needs the sun, it needs all of these elements in order to become a prosperous fruit-giving tree or whatever you're trying to grow. And I feel that with human beings, it feels like it could be a similar thing that we need to go through trials and tribulations in order to appreciate what we have right now, in order to appreciate just our lives. I think, so much happens right now that we even forget to be happy that we're alive. And so it's sad, but everything is necessary in this life. You cannot have the good without the bad. Everything has to be equal. And so this is one of the equals. And I think that also one of the most powerful things that I always remind myself is that the Lord will never give you more than you can carry. And when you look at the people of Jamaica, they're such powerful people. So for them to have been going through Hurricane Melissa, it means that there are people that can also come out of Hurricane Melissa and do something more powerful out of Hurricane Melissa. So it also speaks back to the internal fortitude and the power that they have. So it's a beautiful thing. And even though we mourn the loss of so many lives of people and of people's money, I mean, people have spent money on homes, have to spend money on rebuilding. There's so many things that they have to do. But we also have to give thanks for those that are still alive and have to give thanks for the second opportunity that people are receiving to move forward in a different way.
Exactly. You always had your hand in social reform, some kind of social effort in order to rebuild or build up a community. And whenever you not focus on Jamaica and the Hurricane Melissa crisis down there, you're focusing on South Africa and the youth crisis down there. And in your social message, you detail these crises that's facing young people with unemployment, depression, corruption. Like, what responsibility do you feel toward like speaking for them?
Well, when you look at South Africa, we have a history of the youth standing at the forefront of change. When you look at June 16th, which is Youth Day, it was the youth in Soweto going and protesting against the teaching of Afrikaans within the schools. And that led to such a pivotal moment in South African history. And so, as part of the youth, I also feel that I have to contribute. I have to do my part and speak about what we want to see as change, especially when we look at the Millennium Goals that were placed down by Thabo Mbeki when he said, look, we want to see employment, we want to see housing, we don't want to see hunger anymore. We're tired of seeing households that being led by children because the parents have passed away, or the situations are just so bad that these children got to go to school and come back and look after and provide for their younger brothers and sister. So these are the things that we're fighting and wanting to change. And I feel that as we move forward in time, yes, a lot of things have gotten better than where they began. But unless you keep on speaking about things and bringing it to the awareness of people, I feel that you won't see the change that you're seeking. When you look at our unemployment rate, we have one of the highest unemployment rates in the world, which is a crazy stat. I think you're looking at about 40 something percent, 43% of unemployment in South Africa, which is even more crazy when you think that we want to start integrating things such as AI and so on to remove jobs. Now, if you have a 43% of unemployment, I don't think we should be considering different ways to remove more jobs. We should be looking at ways to create more jobs. And so these are the things that I wanted to tackle in social message. That we have a powerful youth. I think if you look right now, musically, South Africa is one of the dominant sounds, not only on the African continent, but in the world. We have Tyler, we have Amapiano, we have so many amazing things going on. If you look at our television scene, a lot of the international productions are coming to South Africa to have their films shot here because the scenery is so beautiful, because we have such diverse scenery. You can have a desert scene. You can have a scene in a city that looks like you're in New York or something. You can have another scene that looks like you're in a jungle. So it's so diverse, it's so beautiful. That scene is also blossoming. And to see all of these beautiful and positive things happening, we also have to, like I said, take the good with the bad and see what do we need to work on to improve. Why is there so much still drug abuse happening within underprivileged communities? Why are people going to bed hungry? All of these things still need to be addressed. And so I want to bring them to the fore so that we can address them. There's no society in the world that I believe that people can say they live in that's perfect. But we can try our best to make ours as close to perfect as possible.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. You know, and it has to start with the youth. It has to start with the because what the old gonna do? we the old they're we're supposed to be preparing them for the next, you know, it says stage in our existence, and we got to continue on this earth. So that means that the youth have to be the basis of everything that we do. Now, you often say, or you often put on the where you rather stand with the youth and not above them. Now, in this new era where you got awards coming and all this recognition, and like I say, rubber shoulders with politicians, how do you stay accessible to the next generation?
Well, I'm always accessible. I think it's just being as grounded as possible. I'm not one of those artists that love to go to shows and sit in the VIP or try and elevate yourself above the next individual because you're a music maker or whatever it may be. I feel that I'm always a part of the people. I love to talk to the youth. So you'd find me with them, just asking them, "Yo, what type of music you on? What do you love right now? What do you think is the next thing?" I love to hear the opinions of the youth. I love to also educate the younger artists and just sit with them in the studio, hear what they're making, give them my experience and my expertise on how I go about doing my things. I think that also contributes to making a better arts industry if we can all go back and help the younger ones behind us. And then, of course, comes all of my works that I do when it comes to communities. So I go into underprivileged communities, I perform for them, hang around with the youths for the day, just see what's going on there, feel what they're feeling. I think it's also very important to understand you can hear a person's point of view, but it's only until you go there and you're around them and feel what they're feeling can you then understand it. So I try and do that as well.
Man, that's a beautiful thing right there. Because like with some people make it seems like they're just too busy. You know what I'm saying? Like all these deals are coming at them, and I believe that's just the chase of money that's just disconnected them from the reality of life. Like what keeps you grounded? Is it just the youth, or what is it? Family, or what keeps you in reality versus stepping on that pedal and be like, I'm just better than this.
Well, it's all of the above. It's all of the above. The family, the youth, even just the music. When I started making music, I didn't make music because I want to be rich, or I didn't make music because I want to be famous, or I wanted girls, or whatever the hook may be. I made music because I love making music. It was as simple as that. I sat with a paper. I started writing some lyrics. It was so fun. And then I could recite the lyrics. And then I was like, dude, this is one of the most beautiful things ever. So I think one of the most impactful things that I've learned came from my dad, where he says that, music is one of the few industries where we can create without destroying anything. And that's a very powerful statement. And I love that. I love to be someone who creates without destroying. It's power, but it's also gentle. And so that's, I think, the way not only do I approach my music, but I approach everything in life. I think when I deal with the next individual, I want to see the next individual happy. I don't want to see, I don't want to feel that I'm taking advantage of an individual, and I don't want them to feel that I'm taking advantage of them. I want us to feel equal with each other. I want us to have a free flowing conversation. I want us to be standing on equal footing when we meet each other. And so I approach every single person like that, whether it's a politician, a president, or a man in the streets, one of the friends that I grew up with, my daughter. To me, it doesn't matter. As I said earlier, we're all human beings, regardless of the title that somebody had placed on you, or your race, or whatever class system you were born into. All of that doesn't matter to me. We all breathe the same. We all eat the same. We all experience the same emotions. We're all human beings. And so that's how I approach everything in my life.
Man, and that's exactly how we all should be looking at it. But if we let little things like skin color and all that type of stuff get in the way, man, we take away from the actual the essence of this whole life. We didn't come down here to deal with this. It's so much
Yeah.
out here that we got going, and it's so beautiful that the youth are actually staying away and steering away from. They're seeing it. They seeing the past generations are like, y'all are doing what? Y'all are arguing about why? No, I'm
Yeah.
good. How do you like push that forward? How do you promote that? How do you encourage that? Do you like? Yeah, give us some pointers, because I need some pointers over here.
So I think with me, I use my music as my weapon. I think music is one of the easiest ways to connect with the youth, because they love that a little funky beat. Once they feel in something and they dance, and you put a little bit of a message in there, they don't even know that they're getting the message. Next thing they reciting what you're saying. Once they're reciting it, they're remembering what you're saying, and now they want to reenact it and live it. So it's a little bit of a subliminal trick that I'm using there. Um, but there's so many different ways that you can reach somebody, and I think one of the most easiest ways to reach somebody is to be on their level. Nobody likes to be spoken down to. Nobody. And also, people, for some reason, it's such a weird thing that no one wants to be spoken down to, but nobody also takes serious a conversation from somebody that they think is below them. It's very strange. And so
Right.
I think it's about being on equal footing, seeing each other as being the same, speaking to each other as being the same, approaching each other without that fear or that whatever it may be, and just saying what you mean and what you feel, but also being respectful. I think that there's a thin line about being saying whatever you want. People think that by saying whatever you want, you can also be disrespectful. No, it doesn't work like that. You can say whatever you like, but within reason, and it
Right.
depends how you say it. So your approach is very important. I think if you can approach people with respect, and you can approach them and make them feel comfortable, they're much more eager and open to your message than if you come and alienate them. When you alienate people, immediately they become hard of hearing. They don't want to hear what you're saying.
Yeah, you're right about that, man. It causes a lot of disasters whenever you try to when you and it don't even have to be intentionally. It just you got to be careful. Words are like an intricate puzzle. You got the pieces. You got to put them in the right places, and that way you get a beautiful picture. And that way
Yeah,
you can be able to pass that picture off. No matter what it is, it's a beautiful picture. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna convey the message that you wanted to convey. And that's the same thing with music. You got to make sure this lyric is in the right place, or you don't want two words to be next to each other and you see it as being innocent, but when it plays at a club or something, it hits people ear wrong. You
yeah,
know what I'm saying? Now, when disaster hits, like whether it's in South Africa or the Jamaica, how does it change the meaning of your music? And like, does it sharpen your message?
Um, it sharpens the message, yes, but I wouldn't really say changing the meaning. I think that I've been blessed enough that the messages that I've put out there are are so are so powerful, but yet so flexible. You can find any situation in life that a lot of them apply to. So, for example, I have a song called "Women Run the World." "Women Run the World" is from projects that came out perhaps 4 years ago. It was the album was called 24 Hours, if I'm not mistaken. So about 4 years ago, I released this song. This year, in fact, this month, right now, as we speaking, they've been running campaigns of gender-based violence and trying to empower the girl child. So a song like "Women Run the World" steps in perfectly into these type of situations. I think it goes back to the biblical saying that there's nothing new under the sun. And Nas also says it. There's nothing new under the sun. It's not how you do it, but how it's done. It's
Mhm.
not what you're saying. It's all been said before, but it's how you say it. It's how you portray this message. So I think my music fits perfectly into this category because I speak about such human experiences, uh, and these are things that continue to repeat themselves. My music continues to make itself relevant because these experiences continue to make themselves relevant.
Yes, and you actually make it's not just the lyrics, it's your compositions. You have been able to put together some massive songs. And I told you about my favorite was Lion.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
right there gets me hype every time. I
yes, sir.
It's in my playlist. It's in one of the first 4 songs, so I make sure I hear it first thing in the morning. So you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Now collaborating with Leroy Scarlett and the legendary Sly and Robbie, that brings a different kind of weight. Like, what did
yeah.
working with giants teach you about longevity?
That was a beautiful moment in my career. Still is because I still am very much working with Reggae Powerhouse Band and Mr. Leroy Scarlett. But reggae music, as you say, is completely different. When I started my career, I started in hip hop, and hip hop is considered a young man's sport. In fact, not so long ago, I think 2 or 3 years again, we were celebrating the 50th of hip hop. So that's a very young genre right there. And most of the practitioners of hip hop is the younger generation. But when you look at reggae music, reggae is so unique in the fact that we've got the old heads like Burning Spear and guys that come from the eras of Bob Marley that are still on stage today, still delivering songs, still having the youth come in and fill up venues for them. So it's a completely different perspective to the industry than the hip hop perspective. So I learned about the longevity of your art, that your art can continue as long as you can continue. I think in hip hop, it really places an expiry date and time limit, and it kind of rushes you, tells you that, look, you're reaching the end of your career. You got to find something to fall back on real fast because this is going to be over soon. Whereas reggae music is telling you that, look, this is a spiritual thing. As long as you can connect with people, connect with them. Your age is not what's important. The message is what's important. So I learned that from them. I also went backwards into the importance of musicality. I think as we go forward with technology, the instrumentation in music starts to quickly disappear. I think the youngsters have been moving more into the digital age, computer productions, and so on. Whereas reggae music is still open to the full live band and the old school styles of production, which I think is a beautiful thing because that has a feeling to it that can't be replicated by anything digital. So it's also about that, and then also learning about the content of your music. I think when you look at reggae music, the music is not just words that are meant to entertain you, but it's words that are to give praise. It's words that empower. There's so much meaning behind it. It's not just entertainment, and it's not just some people view it as therapy. I want to get out everything that bothers me, which is fine. But also remember, I was speaking to a therapist and she was saying, look, when everybody puts their problems on her, she ends up depressed. So she might end up on meds. So if you
Yeah.
keep on treating your music as therapy, all the listeners are going to be depressed. You can't, you know, you can't do that.
Yes.
So I think reggae music also showed me the importance of having a message that's uplifting. Don't use it only as a way to vent, but for a way to give people something, a little bit of hope, to give them motivation. Don't only be selfish and use it for yourself. What about the listener? So there's all of these different aspects that I learned from reggae music, learned from Mr. Leroy Scarlett, from Sly and Robbie. I mean, we're speaking about people that have run the gambit of music. They've worked with, you know, we're talking about Rolling Stones, Mick Jagger, Grace Jones. We can come all the way back and say Bob Marley. You know, it's just they've done the whole thing, and they're still here creating something new. So it also shows you that once you have that type of a spirit, a creative spirit, the spirit doesn't age. There's no time frame to creativity. It's a blessing, and as long as you're thankful for the blessing and look after it, it can stay with you for as long as possible.
Man, look at here. You were so right about that. And the way that you actually get to navigate through the entertainment industry is just so massive right now. Like you even contributed to a major film soundtrack with Cop and a
Yeah,
Half. Like, how do
yes,
you
sir.
navigate being both the entertainer and a voice for international social issues?
You know, it was a blessing. I think that as everything that is supposed to happen in life, it happens naturally. I think when you fight to make things happen, or when it's a struggle to pull things together, it becomes difficult. It becomes difficult to continue doing these things. For me, everything has just been so natural. I think that this is me as a person, and so my music reflects me, and then my music reflecting me also then leads to opportunities where I can be me for the public, and so everything is just so natural. It doesn't feel like it's work, or like I'm extending myself too far or too much, and I think that's one of the tricks. I always say this to my daughter, who's an aspiring musician, up and coming musician. I say one of the biggest secrets in music is to make something that's difficult look easy. And I don't think that's only in music. I think that's also in sports and so on. If you look at your favorite sportsman, Cristiano Ronaldo's, whoever it may be, he makes something difficult look easy. A 3 meter header, he jumps with ease, but he's practiced his whole life to do it. It was not easy to get to that situation, but it's natural now. It's something that just flows and it looks natural. And so when people look at it, it also motivates them because it looks so easy that they think, look, I can do it as well. So they also start trying it. And I think that's one of the biggest secrets. And I think sometimes as artists and as people, in life, we get caught up in so much of the semantics. We just forget about being natural and letting things also take their flow and their course. We love to be in control and in power. I guess that's why we build dams and all of these type of things. We love to control the flow of things. But you can dam up the water; it will just form another route and go in another direction. Sometimes you have to let it just do its own thing. And so I approach my life and my career also in a similar way. Do things that feel natural, and it'll be easy. If you fight it and you start doing things that are not you and not what you're about, then it becomes a problem. And people can sense it and people can see it, and you struggle from that.
Yeah, that's that saying, you trying too hard comes from.
Yeah, 100%.
Now tell me, working on this major film, Cop and a Half, like tell me, how was that? Like that had to be a totally different beast from what you've been used to.
You know, it was such a beautiful moment. My one of my musical mentors and also my bandmate, Mr. Rashid Lani on keys. He was doing the whole soundtrack for the movie, and so I was commissioned to do a song for it. We entered the booth, and I remember recording the song. It's called "Boys Will Be Boys," and when I recorded it, it was a different song, completely out of the norm of what I would do. I would say it was more like a house music type of a production,
Mm,
a more reggae hip hop type of a vibe. But I
right.
always tell people that as a musician, music is music. It's no difference. So it just took a little bit of sitting and writing and understanding. I wanted to know, listen, obviously I couldn't watch the movie. It wasn't out yet.
Right.
So it was just a conversation to say, what is the movie about? What is the direction that we're feeling for with this? And once I understood what we were going for, write the verse into the booth, and I think it was such a quick process, which again speaks back to the naturalness of things. It was such a natural process that it ended up going so fast. I think I wrote and recorded and did everything within an hour. So we wrote, record, mixed everything. The whole song was done within an hour. And yeah, it was a blessing to see it not only on the movie, but becoming the main soundtrack of the movie. So that was such a huge thing. I was surprised by that. I mean, I watched when the movie came out, I started watching it, and the whole time I'm like, yo, where's the song? Where's the song? Where's the song? And right at the end, the song comes. I was like, this is the biggest song in the movie right now. This is crazy. So beautiful moment, something that I'm eternally grateful for, and then quite a beautiful learning lesson. And I think also a big shout out to the South African music and movie industry. It's great to see us collaborating and working together. A lot of times we'll make our movie and we use an American soundtrack, and then it feels disjointed. It's great to see that our artistic industry is becoming so self-sufficient and so powerful that we're just looking within and we're finding everything we need from each other. That's a beautiful thing, and I think the vision that we had when everything started.
So when we go see Don Dada on the big screen?
Oh man, acting has not really been something that I've considered. I know a lot of actors, and I always ask them this. I say, "Are you the same guy when you go home? Because I don't know if you dropped the role." They always say that they're normal, but I don't trust them. I don't trust them. But yeah, I would consider it depending on the role, depending on what's needed from me. I don't know. I don't know if I'd be a natural with it, but you never know until you try. So I would give it a try. I think the more the roles is closer to who you are, the easier it is to portray. So I guess I'd have to be picky. But I've never thought of acting as a profession. It's something I've always admired. But if the opportunity does arise and present itself, I would participate.
I hope so, man, because I mean, you got the whole world watching right now, man. Like with the awards, the diplomacy, humanitarian work. You've been even meeting up with some big artists. I think it was Stonebwoy, was it?
Yeah, yeah.
See that right there? That's major moves right there, man. What's the next leap? What else you got in store for us?
Oh, well, right now we're working on the new album. We obviously the album that was nominated for all of these awards was entitled "The Heart and the Mind," and so we're going to continue on that. Forward We Continue is like the bridge in between. So the heart and the mind, forward we continue, and now the crown and the struggle. So I'm working on that right now. It's going to be quite an epic uh, album, quite an epic project. Put all of our expertise, all of our new connections, but I feel that it's also summing up quite a beautiful trilogy. So it's also going to have about that type of element to it. And of course, I want to bring in some of these lovely features that you've seen me meeting with and so on. So it's going to be very different to the stuff that I've done before, but also keeping to the things that are true to me. Speaking of community, speaking of Rastafari, giving as much praise as possible. And then, like I said, it's the crown and the struggle. So expect songs that speak about hardships, that speak about all the fights we're going through, but also songs that talk about the celebrations and the beautiful moments in life. Because, like I said earlier, you can't have the good without the bad, and you can't have the bad without the good. So we're going to bring it together on this album.
Man, you've been working, boy. I'm talking about. After I heard the heart and the mind, and then you said you were going to drop another sis song, I was like, wait, what? Hold on, wait. And that went hard. That right there, and in my personal opinion, the forward we continue. That goes so hard. I guess it's because of the way it comes on. It just grabs your attention. It just snatches your ears. It snatches your whole brain. It just says, sit down and ingest this. So with that's my baby right there. I ain't gonna lie, man. That thing is a rotation right there with Lion. And I suggest everybody to go after you go listen to Heart and the Mind, go bump that forward. We continue because it is a powerful art. It's a powerful track, man. Definitely.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I appreciate that. The only thing that I wish I had done is just that the Forward We Continue came out a little bit too quickly, but I would have loved to have included the song Peace onto the project. But I'm also quite grateful that Peace is a standalone single right now, because it's such a powerful song, and I think the world was in need of it. But yeah, this is the direction that I'm going in right now. So expect more of it with the new project.
Already. And you say peace is an interpolation of war, Bob Marley's War, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Tell
sir.
us, tell me about that. How did you come up with that track?
Well, I was commissioned the track by Blacker Dread all the way from the United Kingdoms. Blacker Dread is also a renowned producer within the reggae fraternity. And so it was such an honor to have been requested as the artist to write my own rendition. He sent me the production, and immediately I thought, you know what, I'm gonna do something different. Bob Marley spoke of war, and if you look at his verses where we're talking about the speech that His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie, the speech that he gave at the United Nations, speaking about when the Italians had invaded, and saying that, look, until we're all respected by our of who we are, our contents of our heart, and not because of our skin color or our eye color, then we will always have war. And so, looking at the world that we're in today, we have so many things that are going on, and I won't just say war as in the traditional sense. I mean, there is war, so many Ukraine, Palestine. There's so many wars, but there's also wars that are happening within our communities. As I said earlier, gender-based violence. We're fighting a war on drugs. We're fighting a war on unemployment. We're fighting many wars on many fronts. And so I thought that this song is the perfect opportunity to speak of all of these type of things. I think that there's certain things that never go away in human nature. War is one of these things, but the looking for peace is also something that has been forever in the tale of humankind. And so I thought, how better than to flip? If we're going to take the coin of war, we got to flip it and look at peace. And that's how it came about.
Man, it's beautiful. It's a very everybody right now needs to definitely go check out that song Peace by Don Dada. You can get on all streaming services. Definitely check it out. Go stream it and then stream it again, and then make sure you stream it again after that. Got to get it on top number one. We want people to hear this song for real, right?
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Now, before we end off today, man, I gotta give you time to send your shout outs and your big ups again, because I know you got your same team, but you done met some new people, man. I'm gonna give you this time to just see your shout outs right now.
Of course, of course. So, as always, I'd love to give a huge shout out to Rough Cut Studios, Layla Gibbons, Moses Gibbons, my close team. What a pleasure and an honor working with them. Reggae Powerhouse Band, Mr. Leroy Scarlett, musical father. What a privilege as well working with him. As you said, Sly and Robbie, Elder Delroy Thompson. I'd also love to give a big shout out. Bernard Tauta Harvey, big shout out to him as well. Tough Gong International and the entire team, thank you for assisting. Content Connect Africa, big shout out to you as well. My daughter, Zana, she's coming through with some amazing music, so shout out to her. Keep your eyes and ears open, because she's got some amazing things coming. I'd also like to give a big shout out to the South African Music Awards, the Zimbabwean music industry, the Zimbabwean Hip Hop Awards, all of the upcoming artists and on the African continent. And then, of course, a big shout out to everybody that's going through a hard time. We stand with you. Whatever you're going through, we are with you. We want to help you get out of that so that we can make a better place, not only for you, but for everybody around. It's a beautiful thing. Don Dada to the world, Rough Cut to the world. Big up yourself. Boom! Reggae Hour to the world.
Yes, sir, man. What a powerful reasoning today, man. Man, look here. You didn't just hear an interview. You witnessed the movement, a bridge between Africa and Jamaica, a message rising out of the struggle, and a voice standing strong for the people after Hurricane Melissa. Don Dada continue to prove he's not just making music. He's shaping culture, building unity, and lifting Jamaica with real action and real heart. And here's how you can support the movement. First, go stream the new EP Forward We Continue. Just head to cca.ffm./forward forward we continue, and that's cca.ffm.to/forward we continue. All platforms, one link. And if you want a press kit or a clean MP3s, they're all available in the official folder at the link in our show notes. And for the full feature write-up, you already know where to go, reggaehour.com. Link is also in the show notes. Now, family, make sure you follow Reggae Hour Podcast on YouTube, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Deezer, and anytime at reggaehour.com. Follow Don Dada, follow Reggae Hour, and follow the movement, because history is happening right now, and together we rise. Don Dada, is always a blessing when you are here on Reggae Hour. Thank you once again.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate your platform. As I always say, you're doing God's work right now. You're making a platform that's going to the world, giving artists a voice, giving people a voice. So I must thank you for your work, Mr. E. It's spectacular. It's amazing. And I'll say it again. Reggae Hour to the world. Boom.